As I documented in my video documenting Lonzo Ball's relationship with Denise Garcia, 2018 to 2019 was not an easy year for Lonzo. In 2017, you saw Lonzo Ball's name skyrocket, and it went so far that he was able to catapult himself from what would be a 10th or 7th to 10th pick in the NBA draft into the number 2 overall pick in the NBA draft over De'Aaron Fox, which is who the Lakers apparently wanted to draft originally, but according to other sources, that was a false rumor and Magic Johnson wanted to draft Lonzo Ball the entire time. That's a different video for a different day. The thing is, you guys know me, I'm a huge Laker fan, and when I was looking at this picture of Lonzo Ball, I was thinking, oh my goodness, this guy gained at least 15 pounds of muscle. This guy looks amazing. And I know he was doing some off-season training, and in his off-season training, Lonzo was focused on putting on muscle, but it seems like he's gone above and beyond that, and I don't really blame him for doing so because he was recovering from injuries to his legs before, and all he really could do is either work on his shot without actually putting pressure on his legs or get in the weight room and work on his upper body. And I'm assuming that he did the latter over there because one of the biggest critiques about Lonzo Ball's game is, yes, he's a terrible free throw shooter, yes, he's a spotty three-point shooter, yes, he has great court vision, and yes, he's terrible at taking the ball inside. But the reason why he's terrible at taking the ball inside is the same reason why most players that are really in the early stages of their career, be it 19 or 20 years old, have trouble getting inside and scoring. And that's because he doesn't really have an NBA ready body. And typically any player coming out of the NBA draft doesn't have the NBA ready body, except for, say, Zion Williamson this year and DeAndre Ayton last year. But for the most part, we could all agree those types of players are complete outliers. Some people have those God-given genetics to build that body right before they even get to the NBA, which is what makes players like DeAndre Ayton and Zion Williamson number 1 overall picks, because you don't really have to wait for them to develop. Rather, they're seen as immediate contributors to your offense as a result of their body. But it seems to me that Lonzo Ball is doing what he needs to do to become a good player in this league. And in the past, I could already go out to say that he was a good player in this league. Say his defense is phenomenal. His court vision is great. The one thing that was lacking was his size. Now, I'm going to show you a picture over here of how Lonzo looked in his during his rookie year and when he was working out in a pre-draft workout for the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm also going to show you some summer league footage so you could get an idea of how Lonzo looked back in that time. Now, obviously, I'm going to show highlights. I want my man to look good, but for the most part, you can see from these highlights, his go-to move isn't necessarily taking it inside. He is great at setting up his teammates, primarily Kyle Kuzma in these summer league highlights. But as you go into the regular season highlights, you could also see that Lonzo Ball does struggle to get the ball inside and score inside unless if it's in transition, which is what we come to expect from rookies of his caliber. Now, what's phenomenal about this is, check this out. This is how Lonzo looked after his off-season regimen last year. You can see he's put on significantly more size. The thing I noticed the most is probably his deltoids. His shoulders look way more rounded. His biceps look a bit bigger, but bicep training isn't necessarily something that NBA players really go for. Usually, if you're training in the NBA, the number one thing you're going for is burst off your legs, and you're not really training for mass. Rather, you're training for hypertrophy. So, and that's why most of the NBA players that are in the shape they're supposed to be in have a nice, thin, slender, yet muscular build. Players like Dwight Howard, for instance, which I know I called him skinny, and a lot of you guys ethered me in the comment section, and I guess I kind of exaggerated there, but I make mistakes. If Mike Korzemba could say Lonzo Ball is Steph Curry with a 50-inch vertical, I think I could get away with this one time. Now, I honestly think this is what could separate Lonzo from a player that could only scratch the surface of double-digit points per game in the NBA to a player that could at least score 14 or 15 points. At the very worst, whenever he drives the ball inside, he is more of a threat. So players are going to drop back in coverage to defend him in order to do so. And he has the court vision in order to find the players that are wide open for three or wide open in the corner or whatever and get them the open pass. Now, I do think there are still some other holes in his game. For example, in this bit of footage, you can see that Lonzo Ball has been working on his jumper throughout the offseason, which is great because one of the number one holes in his game that a lot of people have always been roasting is his jump shot. But I'm here to put that jump shot to rest a little bit. He saw his true shooting percentage go up from a 44% to a 49% last year. He also saw his player efficiency rating dip a little bit, but bear in mind, we got a much smaller sample size out of Lonzo Ball last year than the year before. The next issue that Lonzo has had is just staying healthy, man. Throughout his first 2 seasons, Lonzo Ball has played a total of 99 games. So that means he missed 60-something games throughout the entirety of his career, which isn't really off to the best start. But again, another thing that I think is really going to help Lonzo this year, and he's just going to stuff the stat sheet as a result of this, is he is the primary playmaker on a team with great scorers. He has Brandon Ingram, he has Zion Williamson, he has Derek Favors, JJ Redick on his team, he has Drew Holiday on his team. I really believe that the Pelicans can make some noise with this squad that they got and in the post Anthony Davis Pelicans. Like, one thing that I was talking to a buddy of mine about, and I can't believe this actually came up, and I can't believe that we both agreed on this, but a lot of people are forgetting that the Pelicans improved after trading Anthony Davis. The Pelicans this year are better than the Pelicans last year, and that's despite losing one of the top 5 players in the NBA in Anthony Davis. And a lot of us are forgetting that. The post Anthony Davis Pelicans are significantly better. The only question that remains about these Pelicans are they struggle to shoot the 3-ball. Zion isn't a great 3-point shooter. Lonzo Ball isn't a great 3-point shooter. Brandon Ingram is a spotty 3-point shooter. He's about 33% last year, and that's if he even plays. The only people that could shoot the 3 on that team are JJ Redick and Drew Holiday. And Alvin Gentry likes to run an offense that prioritizes pace. So what am I expecting from this year's Pelicans despite Lonzo Ball's production and development and adding the next generational superstar in Zion Williamson, in addition to former number 2 overall pick Brandon Ingram, and of course we know Lonzo's a former number 2 pick as well. I'm expecting a similar season outcome to the 2017 Los Angeles Lakers. Sometimes they seem like they have it figured out. It looks like they know what they're doing. They show flashes from time to time, but as they push the pace, they come to find that players can't hit their open shots, and that's going to result in some problems. Now, without a doubt, don't get me wrong, despite all of this, I still think that the Pelicans are going to be one of the more fun teams to watch this season, and I do expect Lonzo Ball and Brandon Ingram to be in the conversation for most improved player, or I could see the Pelicans completely giving up on Brandon Ingram and flipping him to a different team, because I feel like Brandon Ingram, his number one issue in all of his career was at times he is way too passive, and he is not the type of player that you can put on a team with 2 other alpha dogs or 1 other alpha dog and expect him to do well. We saw how he did with LeBron James this past season, and that was with a veteran Hall of Famer on his team. We saw him defer to LeBron a lot, and that's because he has yet to be the alpha dog on his team, even though he has the opportunity to do so. So if you ask me, at the end of the day, I do think Lonzo Ball's development and Lonzo Ball's transformation is going to really pay off dividends in helping the Pelicans make a push for the 8th seed at the very least in the Western Conference. But I do not see this team making it that far, mainly because as a Laker fan, I've seen this story before. I know what to expect out of this team, and at the end of the day, they're still very inexperienced. Now, I could be wrong. On paper, they're a very good team, so I would like to get your opinion on the matter, guys. Where do you think the Pelicans are going to go? Do you think Lonzo Ball's development and muscle build, muscle transformation is going, and body transformation is going to make a difference for the New Orleans Pelicans? Besides that, I'm your boy, Theflightmike. Make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you're new, and I am signing out.